Hi everyone, it's July 29, 2021, and you're watching the Awesome 10X Global Market Update. Let's begin. So, of course, everyone's happy with the Chinese movement last night. So, Chinese stocks right now in Hong Kong are also rising. You could see that we were bullish on Alibaba and Tencent, made the 5x long. So far, so good. How high will this bounce be? Let's take a look at the Chinese stocks last night and how it's moving today. So an extension of the rally. So July 28 was day one, July 29 is day two. You're seeing likes of Miniso go up 17%, now trading at $17. Futu and Tiger were up 17% respectively. Tiger is 17, Futu is 110, after hours extension of $113. Agora is now trading 31.82, sharp 16% increase from 25. So about 30% in 2 days. You've got education firms actually trying to appease the government and offering some programs for free and changing their business models. So Tad and Edu has also been up. Li Auto up 1%, 15% after the last night's move. Let's read all the growth moves in Chinese stocks. Li Auto, 15% up. Pintuotuo now trading at $94, 15 plus 2%, so 17% up. You've got Nayuki Milk Tea in Hong Kong, 13% up. Futu is now 12%, additional 2, 14% up, 113. Yatsen Global rising from about $6 to $7. KC going from 25 to 28. Bilibili going from $80 to $94. Dada going from 19 to 21, Beiki going $28. So you could see like the entire Chinese index is actually up a whopping 5, 10, 20% move. Some stocks going as much as 30% in the last 2 days of the rally. We have been saying that the US is, so the reason for these rally have been a clarification that China will pursue market reforms, and they assuaged actually all the fears that it will be that it would make the industry actually go away. So you could see that there's so much jitters, but now those jitters are gone. See what's happening, Alibaba. Okay, for Alibaba, which is the largest company of fund flows, expect the movement. Usually, I've been saying that these are movements that can go as high as 210 or 220, but just trail your stops. So if you have bought last night 180 or even last night at 196, the first resistance on Alibaba 9988 HK is about 210 Hong Kong. So that would be another 5% run up. If it rallies there in just a quick bounce, expect some resistance to sell. In fact, 200 to 210 tonight, there will be some pressure selling. Take profits as well. Take a little profit. That said, of course, Alibaba is not gonna disappear. And in fact, it can go 230 or 240 if you're gonna look at it from a larger perspective because it's really undervalued. Some people are saying that Alibaba, the bats will not fly. That's the normal bearish statement. But what you're seeing and what we are reading, especially next week, since Alibaba is going to report their earnings on August 5, Alibaba will, in my view, next week, August 5, they will report their cloud revenue growth. They'll report their financial Alipay growth. And they'll, of course, discuss their Alibaba numbers. So I am of the view, and I'm going to tell you I'm biased, but I believe that Alibaba is a keeper here. And the believers and the investors will keep their shares, even if in the short term there will be some profit taking here at 210. So look for another catalyst next week on August. So even if there's going to be some profit taking here at 200 to 210, any pullbacks, in my view, at 190 will be supported for Alibaba. So there was a knee-jerk reaction, a capitulation that happened here at 180. I don't think that's going to happen anymore. So this is going to be considered a higher low here at 190 for Alibaba. Now let's take a look at 700 HK. 700 HK fell a massive 40% drop from as high as 750, 760 here, all the way to dropping here at about $430 last night. Today was a sharp reversal, now trading at 490. The first resistance we can clearly see is somewhere here about 520 to 540. So obviously, the reason for the movement on Tencent is the fact that they have reiterated that market reforms will continue. Let me read to you the exact Bloomberg articles and even the state media reporting about these. Of course, this is the bigger question nowadays. You're seeing actually floods devastating Western Europe, wildfires spreading across California. I saw in the news in Chinese state media, 71 people is the death toll on the Henan province floods. 400,000 people have been displaced due to the extreme rainfall in China. The rainfall was equivalent to 1 year's worth on a 3-day nonstop rainfall. So we're really seeing climate change happening all over the world. It's happening in Europe, California, China, Siberia. So we definitely are seeing some terrifying moments with commuters actually dying, trapped in that in the during the rain, the extreme rainfall. Let's read some Chinese regulators that were translated. So here, the Chinese regulator was quoted in local media that China is open to IPOs. They even want to support listing in dual places. That means in US and in Hong Kong and Shenzhen. So they want to add crackdown for internet education so that they could improve industries to protect data and to protect the people, not to suppress. So I will have to explain to you some of the things that was given by China's directives within a week. So other than the Chinese regulation on after school education, this have been happening in China. There was actually China banning children under 16 from appearing in all the live streaming and online video content. And this ban was made after China's internet regulator found soft pornographic images of children appearing on various digital platforms. So for the Western people here, it's just China being China. You can imagine the people on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Sometimes there's very suggestive content there that might not be suitable for ages under 16. In fact, 9 to 16-year-old, the studies have found that once they're exposed to too much pornography at a very early age, they might have psychological effects towards their attitudes towards sex. So I think that what China's doing here is not necessarily a bad thing. It's just like an MTRCB on the violence ratings when you watch movies. It's the same thing right now that China's doing for their live streaming social media. Now, I don't think that this extensive regulation is gonna hamper these Chinese social media apps, whether they be Bilibili, whether they be Tencent, whether they be Kuaishou. You can see that there's just this misunderstanding, which made Bilibili fall from as low as from 111 to as low as $80. I do think that there will be profit taking here at about $100 or 109 later on for Bilibili, but at the same time, these secular winners will often be bought on dips. So I think in the short term, what you'll see on these companies in the live streaming arena, such as Bilibili, Huya, Douyu, you're getting a change of hands here. So Huya last night also rose from about $12 to $12.82. There is a resistance in Huya here at 14, but I would assume that people are still going to be willing to buy even at 12.8 tonight or last night. Douyu last night went up from about 375 to 490, but you could see that this drop has been very huge ever since Tencent's Huya Douyu merger didn't transpire. So the actual resistance for Huya for Huya it's 1450. For Douyu, the first resistance from a charting perspective is about 4.8 to 5.35, which suggests still 20 to about 40% rally on the upside for Douyu. It's still significantly oversold. I saw in the news actually that because of this Chinese misunderstanding, approximately 230 stocks in just a few days went oversold. I'm going to read to you the exact data there. David Ingles shared that. I'm going to read to you those things. So in an unprecedented regulation, people who didn't understand it, of course, sold out of panic, which was wrong. You never sell out of panic until you understand the combined the reasons why these regulations were happening. Okay, let's take a look at what's happening in the data. David English shared it. So even if Hang Seng Index is rallying, it's still down 20% from its February peak. And you will see that all the things that Chinese are doing is just to help increase childbirth. So here's the exact news. Oversold conditions on MSCI China. The 14-day RSI members as of July 28th, 284 went below 30, 201 was 30 to 40, 101 was 40 to 50, 83 was 50 to 60. Only 13 stocks remained above 70. So let me share to you the stocks that I'm talking about that are still strong and what I believe will continue going higher. So I was saying last night and also in the stream yesterday, quite every day, I've been saying that Agora was very good. So right now, Agora is trading already at 32. The first resistance of Agora is 35, but you have to understand that live streaming is a trillion-dollar industry in China. So whether you're selling fruits, you're as a rural farmer, they're all using live streaming apps. They're using that for for Pintuatuo, for JD, for Alibaba. So that tells you that all the companies that handle live streaming are in a definitive secular uptrend. So for those who are wondering what opportunities they could still buy from the Chinese companies that got oversold, take a look still further here in Agora. The last night move, although you might be surprised, 25 to 32, that's quite fast. But I think that even here at about 33, 34, the first resistance is there. But fundamentally, Agora will never really lose out on all of their revenues. In fact, Agora's revenues was just more than double. I'll show you the data that I uncovered on Agora. I'll repeat why I felt that Agora was a buy in the sell-off. And it's actually going to benefit on these measures, no, in all fronts. The trend of Agora is, of course, enabling. They had a client, specifically Talent Edu, enabling these major education customers deliver live lectures with excellent video quality to thousands of students in one classroom, keeping their ability to interact with each other at any time. That type of infrastructure is going to be persistent and very powerful, not just for Chinese companies, but also for those who aren't aware, API powers up all your Clubhouse minutes, all your Spotify Green Room minutes, the locker room of Spotify. I believe that I'm not quite sure, but I think they're also trying to. I'm not sure if this is gonna happen, but because live audio and sports are now meshing in, Agora could be a potential infrastructure backbone in case NBA and NFL and in NHL, in my view, would tap into the sports live audio streaming trend. So you can actually watch. Let's assume you can't watch a game, but you want to listen to the game. Sports live audio will be a good way for you to hear it. And I've been saying Agora was the cheapest SaaS company in the realm of in versus, let's say, a Twilio, for instance. So you could see that against the US peers, the high growth peers, Agora has been trading like 13 times forward revenues despite growing their numbers. Their billions of minutes searched tenfold in the last 5 years to about 50 billion minutes. Agora's earnings comes from those minutes, platform as a service. So another reason why smartphone apps and all these COVID lockdown restrictions and even the Delta variant fears is going to be a secular acceleration for the business of Agora is the following. Understand that within the next 5 to 10 years, you will see fast growth zone in COVID-19 apps, remote working apps, e-learning apps, whether that be in China or US or worldwide, wellness apps, education apps, esports streaming, remote health consultation apps, social shared experience apps. Because all of these applications require real-time engagement, you will see Agora's growth actually strong. Not just that, it's also very strong in news apps, gaming. Unity Software is a partner of Agora, same as for Talkspace, a health app in the US. So I do believe, and I said this before and I'll say it again. We were saying Doyu, Agora, eHang, Yatsen Global. These are actually very cheap and they are not related to the tough stance in the sense of the communist government targeting tutoring firms. So you will actually see that the shift towards interactive live streaming classes are gonna be a secular trend. So with this opportunity of buying Agora at its lowest, like even if you couldn't buy it at 80% down, like even tonight, let's say you're buying it at current levels of 32, 32 is 70% down as long as you can average more here. I do think that the upside is bigger, especially if you're looking long term. And take a look at that volume. The earnings call of Agora will happen this August 9. So I will at least in my view, on August 5, August 9, these Chinese companies will actually clarify to the Western media and to all the investors on how much this exposure and education technology firms are so exaggeratedly low. And even if they lost that business, if they're going to gain businesses with their clubhouse, with all their non-Chinese education tech revenues, you will see that these companies will actually go back to at least 40 to 48. So I see further upside on Agora rather than just a trading momentum move from a capitalization standpoint. Okay. Mamaya, okay lang. Ay, wait. Wait, guys. I just need to sign something. While I'm doing something, I want you to watch a certain clip. Watch this clip from yeah. Why don't we watch this one? Watch this. Okay, with all those problems right now, we are seeing climate change and the obvious repercussions. The death toll in China is very huge. We can see a lot of coverage happening right now in Chengzhou, Henan province. Why don't I read to you the exact news bit on it? Chengzhou, Henan province, the flood. Henan province is inundated by historic rainfall. After massive floods, Changzhou subway is becoming a public mourning site. So subway flood victims that were dead. Can you imagine? 1 year's worth of flood cost these Chinese people so many deaths. Let's read through this happening. At least 71 people are now perished in last week's floods in Henan province, including 14 who were trapped on the flooded subway in Chengzhou. Residents had bouquet after bouquet, the neatly tied yellow and white flowers standing on the end on Tuesday outside an entrance to a subway station in central China where 14 people died last night after a record-breaking downpour flooded large swaths of Henan province. The deluge drowned left others gasping for breath in chest-high water until emergency crews could reach them. I'm filled with grief. a crowd of 50 people, etc. Yeah, so I've been watching all these news bits. What the Chinese tech has done is to tell the people who are using their Douyin and Kuaishou, those are the short live stream platforms in China. These companies, the social media, were being used to actually track the people's whereabouts so that the emergency disasters on these floods are being addressed. So with that light, I'd say that despite there's these bans on Chinese social media apps are also being used to essentially tell people, are they safe? Do they need some help? So that the Chinese disaster could actually track them down very fast. So I'd say that this cybersecurity law that people are misunderstanding is more on protecting the people's privacy. So the data, the first reaction when you get these bans is that it's too much control. But also all that, if you read through the news from Chinese state media simply saying we're just protecting the rights and privacy of our consumers. In this case, the hundreds of millions of Chinese consumers. That's the reason why they were cracking down on DD Global, and that's the reason why they're trying to tame the type of sexual content, suggestive content that is inherent in some social media firms. And what you're seeing with why Tencent got banned on the video games from 10 p.m. to 8 a.m. is to encourage the Chinese children, especially 18 years old below, to not get addicted to gaming. Because anyone playing games in midnight is usually addicted already to it, spending more than 5 hours every single day instead of actually pursuing other things such as studying or doing their physical sports or whatsoever. So let me show to you further what's been happening in the movements as well in U.S. companies. Last night, a company reported after hours PayPal. So earnings on PayPal. Let's read this. PayPal Venmo volumes have grown 58% year on year to $58 billion. So they showed that the transactions per account growth, the annualized run rate is now standing at $1.3 trillion, with transactions up 11% to 43.5. With a nod to a drop in the eBay marketplace, the company noted it is transitioning to managed payments. This transition should be complete by the end of the quarter. Volume growth would have been about 48% without eBay. And CEO Dan Schulman said eBay's merchants and consumers want and desire to use PayPal. eBay is projected to be 7% point revenue drag, and throughout the last 12 months, PayPal's top 15 marketplaces and platforms grew 64% to roughly 118 billion compared to eBay marketplace volumes, which have declined 6% over the same period. Total active accounts of PayPal's Venmo is now 403 million. It's up 16% with 32 million active merchant accounts. As many as 44% of active accounts were outside the US. The average payment volume of $66 was up 11%. Now, more merchants are now accepting QR codes. The three casual sellers are signing up to offer PayPal's QR code every minute. Individuals using QR codes are more engaged, driving 19% more total payment volume on PayPal. Beyond these key drivers of the pandemic, QR acceptance is growing. Merchants want to boost their digital interactions, customers, and driving loyalty with rewards and coupon points. According to latest results, the cross-border total payments volume also recovered. This quarter, second quarter, it came in at 38% to 51 billion, representing 16% of the total payment volume. Key corridors include UK, EU, the US, and China. Schulman said, we're very pleased with the momentum we're seeing as well in crypto, which is also in the midst of an open banking integration, increasing the ability to fully integrate with ACH and faster payments. Okay, so we are seeing the advent of fintech. Growth of PayPal is strong, $311 billion so far in terms of headline numbers. And Venmo is about $58 billion of that. So we are seeing the total transition of the world from cash to cashless, and PayPal is benefiting on that. If you're wondering why PayPal could be going down later on after hours, it has to do with expectations, because the market really is already bullish on PayPal for quite a while now. So PayPal has grown something like 300% already year on year, the stock price, from about $100 here during March, 90 to $100, right now trading at $300. So that said, I would say that there is a very strong support so far here, $260. So you've seen already NASDAQ, US firms, no matter how good the numbers were for Shopify, for the likes of PayPal, I think Google, Microsoft, you are getting some slew of profit taking, with some people actually checking, is the valuation still valid? Am I still paying a good multiple here if I'm paying $300 for a PayPal? $300 for a PayPal right now trades at about, let's take a look at the valuation of PayPal and how it compares to their peers. Their peers versus Visa, MasterCard, Square, and the likes. Okay, so PayPal is $300. That is a $350 billion market cap. So it's about nearing 50 times price of sales here. Okay. Let's take a look as well how your Square is doing. So I'd expect that the market having an after hours drop on PayPal is gonna affect as well your Square. So it's gonna do the same in my view, 10% drop, even if there's a good number. So Square is also $116 billion market cap, earnings on August 5. So this is nothing new. We are seeing some movement away from US tech. Last night it was quite obvious. Although the movement away from US tech to Chinese tech is just about the narrowing of the valuation discount. With clarity that the Chinese firms are still gonna grow, I'd say that expect growth valuation premiums of US against Chinese tech to still narrow down for at least a week. So people who are wondering whether this is just a short covering rally or a dead cat bounce move, I think you have to understand that each sector will move on its own accord. There will be some social media apps that have temporary resistances in my view. So like Billy, Huya, Doyu, there will be those resistances. Even your API would have resistance, but that resistance could be 20 to 30% higher, not that bad of a reward, even if you place a discount valuation on them. Other than these news, what else should I share? Wait up. So QuantumScape, yes, let's just share this. Morgan Stanley released a very good result, an update on QuantumScape, making QuantumScape last night surge 14%. Let me read to you the continued momentum and why they actually upgraded this to overweight with a $70 target price. So let's read through this. Wait, I can't read it. Reset. Open image in new tab. Where is that? Okay, all right. So QuantumScape, let's read it together. $70 price target says here that QuantumScape has tested 10 layer cells in the commercially relevant 70 times 85 millimeter form factor at 1 CNC over 3 rates under standard temperature and pressure, and they believe this will be relevant for automotive applications. By year's end, they are expecting to have the results from these 10 layer cells, which I hope to compare with that of the single and 4 layer cells disclosed previously. This will also be made and tested cells with an LFP cathode, confirming the chemistry and cell design compatible with LFPs. These results prove to be interesting as QuantumScape is stating that LFP coupled with their lithium metal anode could deliver energy densities between 600 to 700 watts per liter, which approaches today's top NMC chemistry on a volumetric basis. LFP is typically not always viewed as a very favorable chemistry due to the low energy density, but should QS be able to provide energy density comparable to NMC chemistries, it will create an interesting dynamic as LFP is generally associated with cost reductions compared to NMC. The path to scale means that company will pull forward a 2022 capex to 2021 related to their QuantumScape spending, but amount wasn't disclosed yet. With tooling ordered, headcount increasing, and 10-layer cells beginning to be tested, Morgan Stanley believes QuantumScape is going to be on track to meet key milestones, including delivering commercially relevant prototype samples to all the OEM manufacturers in 2022, providing cells for R&D test cars in 2023, and entering commercial production in 2024 to 2025. These are very encouraging steps from QuantumScape. That's why last night QS had a resounding, very bullish move. We started buying QuantumScape last night at $23.20. It closed as high as $24.20. The first resistance, in my view, on QuantumScape is $28 to $30 here. But if successful, as they said, commercial production in 2024 to 2025, this is a game changer in terms of battery cells, because right now, we are, of course, getting all of our batteries from the likes of CATL in China, Panasonic, LG Chem, and of course, there are some companies that are new here, which is Frey Batteries. Freyer Battery is here at about $8.31. If you want to find solutions in the battery arena, take a look at these names. So far, I know solid state battery is QuantumScape. I haven't studied the rest. Actually, I have. What is Quantum C? I don't know this. Is it related to batteries? And then Microvast is, I think, related to batteries as well. I haven't studied this, but this one is also in that battery space. But the news is really positive for QuantumScape. Okay, so with that, are there any comments? None. So thank you tonight, and hope that you've had a good day. See you tomorrow. Bye.